So here I am sitting in my front yard. I had a particularly interesting last couple of weeks, in which case we had water come into our basement yet again. First time in, or second time in about 6 or 7 years. I love water, but I hate water. So every time it rains, I stay up all night wondering if I'm going to be mopping up a basement full of yuck. And considering the house is only 18 years old, and it's certainly not the fault of the construction. The company is a reputable contractor, and they did a fantastic job. It was mismanagement of the drainage profiles of surrounding houses that causes me my sleepless nights when it rains. I'm throwing all my resources and insanity at this to try and manage it and keep myself sane and well rested. So the flood a couple weeks ago was the result of a very, very tiny leak in a freshwater feed pipe to an outside faucet that went undetected for about 8 weeks and slowly filled up the cinder block wall. And 3 Sundays ago, just decided the block wall was full and let's leak into the basement. So the basement is now kind of torn apart, and the drywall's been ripped out and it's drying out, so that's going to be repaired in a couple of weeks. Yay. But in response to that, I immediately thought it was groundwater, so I got thinking, oh my goodness, I guess my weeping tile is plugged, and called in a contractor to inspect that. The problem is, until recently, the code here did not include cleanouts or inspection access for weeping tile. So I'm going to add that, and sitting over there to the middle left hand side of the screen, top third, is kind of a contraption that I'm inventing to install in my weeping tile so that I can access it to A, inspect it with camera, or have a contractor do that, and secondly, introduce a high pressure nozzle to clean it out if the pipe does get plugged up. So I'm going to be cataloging the construction and installation of said invention, using probably still pictures from here on in, because I just want to get it done. I don't want to videotape every section, but this will kind of give others who are experiencing similar frustrations and situations a bit of a head start on what might be in their future. So I'll walk up to the thing, and this is just PVC sewer pipe, 4-inch, so it matches the outside diameter roughly of the weeping tile, the sock wrap that's subground. I've excavated 2 sites, so you'll see that there's a 45 there, and I'm going to put 2 in so that when the inspection camera or cleanout device is introduced, you can go both ways. So one can come in this way, and then the other one will be facing the other way, so we can inspect both ways. I've cut off the bottom of the 45, so it's a 4-inch, and I used an oscillating tool to lop off the bottom roughly half of that device, of that 45, and then once I install it on top, or saddle it on top of the Big O, or the sock wrap, I'm going to run this stack up to the surface, cut it off, and put a drain cover on it so that it can serve 2 purposes. One, it can be the access / cleanout. Also, it can provide drainage at the window for this particular spot, because it's a area of concern. My windows are at grade, and again, every time it rains, I lose my freaking mind wondering if I'm going to be swimming in my basement. So I'll just walk around. There's, I think I bought a little bit too much pipe, but hey, better to be safe than sorry. So here's... Uh-oh! Uh-oh. So there's the site of the crime. And we walk around the side here. So I've excavated, I covered it up so that I didn't lose all of my granular. Right? So there's where my cleanouts are going to go. Right down in there. And just so you know how insane I've been about this, right underneath here, plugged into that, and fed by this big O across the backyard, I have a sump pump in my backyard. So all the drainage from all of those yards seems to end up maybe coming into my basement. So, picture by picture, I'm going to count my insane Bill Murray, Gopher-like, Caddyshack response to flooding.